Okay, so good afternoon, students. Welcome to Business Ethics. Our focus for today's session is on Unit 3, which deals with justice and economic distribution. So the learning outcomes for this unit is you must be able to explain the nature of justice, discuss three different types of justice, and explain the utilitarianism theory of justice. Okay, so before starting on explaining what is justice, I just want to recap with your understanding, or rather getting you to understand what is business ethics and just revise over that. So we know that ethics are a set of beliefs and values that help individuals determine what actions are right or wrong based on their personal beliefs. So business ethics are principles and values that guide decision making and behavior in business. So it is an ethical code that businesses should follow to maintain a healthy and successful environment. And also with business ethics, we see that it's based on the core concepts of respect for people, the environment, and society. And the principles of business ethics emphasize the importance of honesty, being having integrity, accountability in all interactions. So, right, this means considering the effects of decisions and actions on stakeholders, customers, suppliers, employees, competitors, the environment, and of course, as well as the community. Right. So now in business ethics with this unit, what we're doing is we are defining what is justice, right? So justice means giving each person what he or she deserves. It also means being fair, right? Or in more traditional terms, giving each person his or her due. So justice and fairness are closely related terms that are often today used interchangeably, right? So they have, however, also been more distinct understandings of these two terms. So while justice usually have been used with reference to a standard of fairness or rightness, often has been used with regard to an ability to judge without reference to one's feelings or interests. Fairness has also been used to refer to the ability to make judgments that are not overly general, but are concrete and specific to a particular case. So, in any case, the notion of being treated as one deserves is crucial to both justice and, of course, fairness as well. So if you look at the next slide, different kinds of justice. So on this slide, we see that it is distributive justice. Now, what does this mean, right? It refers to the extent to which society's institutions ensure that benefits and burdens are distributed among society's members in a way that are fair and just. That's why it's called distributive, right? So when the institutions of a society distribute benefits or burdens in unjust ways, there is a strong presumption that these institutions should be changed. So, for example, the American institution of slavery in the pre-Civil War South Africa, right, or pre-Civil War South, was condemned as unjust because it was a glaring case of treating people differently on the basis of race. Then you have retributive justice. Now, this refers to an extent to which punishments are fair and just. So, in general, punishments are held to be just to the extent that they take into account relevant criteria such as the seriousness of the crime and the intent of the criminal, discount irrelevant criteria such as race. So it will be, of course, really unjust, for example, to chop off a person's hand for stealing a dime or to impose the death penalty on a person who by accident and without negligence injured another party as well. Right? So practical examples include take turns, always tell the truth, play by the cards, think about how your actions will affect others, listen to people with an open mind, don't blame others for your mistakes, never take advantage of other people. Also, don't play favorites, right? So justice is about having fairness, integrity, accountability, rightness as well. And utilitarian theory of justice. Now, this is one of the principles of justice. Now, utilitarians use the great happiness principle as the yardstick of determining morality of their action. So this principle constitutes the idea that an action is right to the degree that it promotes happiness and wrong to the degree that it produces unhappiness for everyone, right, affected by a given situation as well. So even in your content or in your study guide, you'll see the theories of justice, and it's elaborated more there, the utilitarian theory of justice. The Hegel, this theory as well. Okay, so just moving on from the utilitarian theory, the okay, sorry about that, just had a connection issue. Okay, so moving on, the egalitarian theory of justice. So if justice cannot be sacrificed to well-being or efficiency, which principles should inform our understanding of justice? Or which principles should, inform understanding of justice? The egalitarian favors equality of some sort, right? So people should receive the same amount or be treated in the same way or be treated as equals in some respect. So just to also elaborate as well further on this from the theory of, or the theories of justice, if you look at the principles of justice, so the most fundamental principle, of justice, one that has been widely accepted is, it was first denied by Aristotle more than 2000 years ago, is the principle that equals should be treated equally and unequals unequally. So in its contemporary form, this principle is sometimes expressed as individuals should be treated the same unless they differ in ways that are relevant to the situation in which they are, of course, involved. Like, for example, if Jack and Joe both did the same work and there are no relevant differences between them or the work they are doing, then in justice, they should be paid the same wages, right? Because they're doing the same work. And if Jack is paid more than Joe because simply he's a man or he's white, then we have an injustice, a form of discrimination, because this is where race and gender are not relevant to the normal work situations, right? So like I said, showing justice is being fair, having integrity, accountability, right? Also, righteousness, rightness as well. So it's doing the right thing, that is justice, right? So that is or summarizes unit 3. So what I want to do now, I'm going to share my screen again, right? Just to take you over the assignment preparation document, which I have campaigned you guys that it's uploaded onto ICANN. If you go under assignments, you'll find your FA1 assignment preparation document. But since we have time, I would just like to go over it. And if you joined late, please note the session is recorded. You will be able to view the recording on ICANN. It'll be made available to you, so you do not have to worry about that. But I'm just going to share my screen and just go over the assignment preparation document that will help guide you for your assignment 1, which is due on the 12th of September. So I'm just going to share my screen once more. Okay, so on my side, you should be able to see business ethics, formative assessment or assignment number 1 preparation. So it provides you very important information about this course regarding specifically FA1, right? So it tells you the modules, what units you need to focus on. So we're going to be covering unit 1 to 4. You have 3 hours to complete your assessment. It's due on the 12th of September. It's out of 40 marks. It contributes 15%. And the code is here, as you can see, at ETH 102. And then you also have the assessment code as well. So the submission process is as follows. So you will be submitting via ICANN by completing the online digital submission. So the biggest advantage of completing the online version is that you will receive your results much faster. And the online quiz is identical to assignments found in your module assessment guide, right? So you need to download your module assessment guide, which is found on ICANN under your assignments. You need to download your module assessment guide. And all you need to do is to complete the assessment online, and it will be marked on ICANN. And once it's marked, your results will be released after it is marked. But also note, which is very important, assignments submitted past the due date will not be marked, right? So your structure of your assessment is very, very simple. Part 1, true or false questions, 10 marks. Part 2 is multiple choice questions, which is 10 marks. Part 3 is matching, 10 marks. Part 4 is long questions, 10 marks, right? So they give you tips here as well, provided for you, true and false questions, how to answer them. Like in a true or false test questions, it tells you how to answer them. For example, 3.1 is true, 3.2 is false. You do not write the entire statement out. You just state whether it's true or false. Question 2 is multiple choice, right? So with multiple choice, you are required to read the question and then indicate which of the provided options is correct, right? Please do not rewrite the questions. Read each question thoroughly before reviewing answers, options, and read every answer option prior to choosing a final answer. If you're having difficulty answering a question, move on and come back to it. But that's how you should write it in this format. For example, 1.1 is A, 1.2 is B. Question 3 is matching column, 10 marks. Read all directions and read each column before you answer. So here as well, the format is simple. You'll just write, for example, if it's question 2, you'll write 2.1 is D, 2.2 is E. But now, of course, in your assignment, matching column is question 3, so you'll write 3.1, whatever the answer is, A, B, C, or D. 3.2 is maybe, for example, C, right? You just write the alphabet of the correct answer. Question 4 is short answer questions and discussion for 10 marks. So with the question word, like it tells you what is required of you, right? Which makes it very simple and easier for you as the students. So you know exactly what is expected of you, right? To define, you need to give a clear meaning of what they're telling you to define, right? The clear meaning of that word. Describe a state in words using diagrams where appropriate only. The main points of the structure, process, investigation, phenomenon. Differentiate is use differences to qualify categories. Discuss is consider all information and reach a conclusion. Explain is to make clear. Interpret and spell out. Identify, name the essential characteristics. List is write a list of items, right? You're just listing, you're not explaining. With name, you give the proper name. State, write down information without discussion. Suggest, offer an explanation or solution, right? That is what we use when the question says suggest. If it says analyze, that means separate, examine, and interpret. So these keywords help you when you're discussing. So in order to complete FA1, you need to go over Unit 1 with these learning outcomes stated here. You can even view it in ICANN, right? Unit 2 as well, the learning outcomes, Unit 3 and Unit 4 as well. So all of these learning outcomes, you need to ensure you go over it, you read the content, you understand it, and you'll be able to attempt FA1. So the same questions in your assignment guide is the same questions for FA1. So please make sure you read your module assignment guide, and then once you are done with that, you're able to just complete it online now, right? That's all you have to do. Questions are the same as it is in your module assessment guide. No questions are different, right? All is the same. So that brings us to the end of this session as well.